If I was the owner, I would have more of a sense of urgency at the start of the season, not, well, let's see where we're at July 28th. I think July 28th, if they're 4 games in front, I think Tom will greenlight some spend. I do. I'd want to be all in every day.
So your baseball team.
Yeah.
I think you said to us in the meeting today that they were going to win 91 games.
I
You realize you're
91
already a
and
half
71.
game back of the Brewers in the Central right now, right?
Okay.
All right.
We're fine.
All right.
Yeah.
91 games.
91 and 71.
Okay.
Correct. We're pretty good, kid.
What worries you most about your baseball team, if you have any worries?
I would like to add a front of the rotation ace to helm the rotation, to have another, like a Yamamoto at the top. Or
how are you going to get that guy?
At the deadline. At the deadline. Like that NL West is really, really good. Well, if the Padres don't achieve to the level they
may be looking to
hope
move Cease.
Right. He's out of contract at the end of the year.
Are you going to rent him, or are you going to trade for him and sign
I'll
him?
worry about that later. I just want to get him on my unit.
In all likelihood, it's not going to be, the long-term extension is not in the plans, right? Because of the
Are you sure your Cubs would really take on
financials?
that money in season there, too,
Yeah.
Cap, based on what I've heard?
That I can tell you, yes, they would take on money in season if they believe they can make a run in the postseason. Yes. That's from the owner telling me that and Jed telling me that.
Does Jed have to thank him for giving him the opportunity, even
Yeah,
if
I
they don't
didn't
Bid
spend
on
it?
him.
Just like he thanked him for allowing them to go to whatever number on Bregman, even though they didn't sign him.
So what did you think of what you heard from your owner from a few days ago in his interview on CNBC?
Where he talked about the break-even comments and all of that.
Just in general. I mean, I've always said here on the show that, look, I'm not a diehard Cub fan, but I watch them. I'm interested. I don't dislike them at all. I kind of like watching them play on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. The ratio doesn't work for me. To be the third highest revenue producing Major League Baseball franchise, but not even in the top 10 in salaries, that ratio doesn't work for me. And to have any type of correlation between the money spent on the ballpark and the neighborhood surrounding the ballpark and the actual baseball team, to me, is a non-starter, especially if you're interested in making your fans happy. Because fans don't want to hear that we've spent $1 billion making the park look nicer and better and the neighborhood be fantastic. That's all great. But if it's going to impact what you're spending on the baseball team, then wouldn't you vote against that?
I would. I believe, here's my take on it. I will always thank them for winning a World Series for me. I was hoping I would live. I went up to Theo one day. I go, dude, can you please get this moving? It was like 2013, 14. I don't know how much time I have left, and I want to see my favorite baseball team win a World Series. And he went, I'd drop about 15. I would eat a little healthier. Make sure you get your rest and be patient because I'm working on it.
Yeah.
And then they did, and they got it done.
So is that's all you need? So that satiates you for the entirety of the rest of your life?
No, absolutely not.
Because that's not how they roll in Boston and New York.
No, I
and
want to
Philly
win all the time.
LA.
I love the Bears. Everybody else pales in comparison except for the Cubs. They're number one. They course through my veins. If I was the owner, I would have more of a sense of urgency at the start of the season, not, well, let's see where we're at July 28th. I think July 28th, if they're 4 games in front, I think Tom will greenlight some spend. I do. But I would want to start the season not just hoping that we could be there in July and then we'll see what we do. I'd want to be all in every day. That's how I would be.
Yeah, but
I'm not Steve Cohen. He's not. I'm not the Dodgers.
Okay,
but
so
you could push more chips in.
So where
now.
would be? We had this. Carmen and I actually were talking about this in Crosstalk yesterday, I believe. Where would be an acceptable, consistent level of spend for your favorite baseball team, where you would be content with it? Right now, they're out of the top 10 in terms of salary.
Well, last year, I think they were 7.
I think Carmen and I actually even said, in a generous fashion, for the third largest market in Major League Baseball. 7th.
I
You
think-
could tolerate that.
Where were they last year? I thought they were 7th last year. Last year, the Cubs were 9th, according to USA Today.
Again, the ratio doesn't work. 3rd in revenue, 9th in spending.
They were the Dodgers last year actually were only at 249 because they get all that deferred money. They spent over $1 billion last winter. Dodgers were at 249. Now they're way, way north of 300. It was Mets, Yankees, Dodgers, Phillies, Astros, Rangers, Blue Jays, Braves, Cubs. That's where they're at.
So that to me is not an acceptable ratio for spend.
Well, I would tell you this. If you look at that, let me see what Spot Rack has to say. They were within $2 million of being like 6th or $3 million. Last year, Spot Track has the Cubs at 7th last year.
Or last year?
Last year, 2024. Cubs finished the season. Okay, this is finished the season at 232.
Who was ahead of them?
Atlanta at 238. Philly at 247. 248 for the Houston Astros. 256 Dodgers. 314 Yankees. 317 New York.
Are we massaging numbers now? Or are those, we legitimate in terms of the overall spend?
That's what it says. Total payroll allocations. That's what it says. Chicago Cubs, 7th. Texas was 8th. Toronto, 9. San Francisco, 10. Chicago White Sox were 18th.
But when you hear your owner say, what we want to do is consistently be in the fight to win your division and then hope things go well after that, basically paraphrasing right now, for the team in the 3rd largest market, doesn't that chap your can a touch?
Yeah, I want more of a sense of urgency at the start. That's what I want. And I don't think that they own their team in that fashion.
So what do you again, this is one game against the Los Angeles Dodgers, and they are a significantly different team for obvious reasons. When you look at your baseball team, and we can get to your top 10 most important Cubs here after the break, what are you looking for? What are your expectations? Do you think they're going to win 91 games? Is that a product of them being in the NL Central? Is it a product of them being a good team?
I think they're a really good team. I do. I think they're a really good team. They got a top 5 farm system. Matt Shaw's now graduated to the big leagues. Kevin Alcantara is coming quick. They've got good players. The guy they gave up in the Kyle Tucker trade is a monster. Cam Smith, their number 1 pick from a year ago, he's a beast. They're going to watch that guy for the next 5 years and go, oh, God.
Which means that you better find a way to get Kyle Tucker signed to an extension.
But the Yankees made the same deal to get Soto, and they offered him $750 million and couldn't get him.
Well, you got to
no
try.
guarantee.
You got to make a significant, sincere try.
You have to try.
Yes.
Correct.
So it'll be interesting. It's going to be a fun season to watch. I think it's an imperfect team in a lot of ways. You're asking, and even Jed said it a month or so ago, you're going to need guys to exceed expectations for you to get to where you're going to go.
Correct.
So, the only guy you have on your roster who can truly be a superstar is Tucker at this point.
Yeah, I think you have a lot of really good baseball players. I think they're clearly the best team in their division, but that doesn't mean they're going to win their division.
Are you going to sleep on Milwaukee because of how much they've lost?
I actually think the Reds are better than Milwaukee.
Really?
I do.
That would be fun.